If this is your first year teaching elementary music, then first of all, congratulations. That is super exciting. I'm so proud of you. Secondly, it can be super overwhelming because a lot of times we didn't learn all the things we needed to know in college, and there's just a lot of things about teaching that you can't learn. So in this video, I'm going to give you a couple of tips for new music teachers so that you will feel at least a little more prepared for what is coming next. Now, if you are a new music teacher, I will mention I have a free music teacher course. It's like a week long, and every day I send you like a really short video, really quick, with some links and different things to help you out that covers things like classroom management, and we cover things like what are you actually going to teach and how to teach rhythm and how to teach melody and all of those really helpful things. So I will link that down below. You can sign up down below. It's totally free, and yeah, let's get started. All right, so there's a couple of different tips I have here, but number one is the most important, and that is number one, focus on the relationships. When it comes to teaching children, you need to form a relationship with the child so that they will want to learn, so that they will feel like, you know, an actual human being, and so that they will want to, you know, do things for you. Having relationships with students is the number one most important thing in teaching ever at all. I'm sure you can think of maybe a teacher that you really liked and a teacher that you really didn't like, and probably the main thing between them is that the teacher you liked spent time to pay attention to you as a human being and actually treated you like a person, and maybe even formed a relationship with you. It makes a huge difference. A couple of ways that you can focus on the relationships with your students when you have like a bajillion children, because yeah, I've had years I had like 700 and I was like, oh my gosh. Number one is use their names. Now, again, 700 children, that's a lot of names. So my suggestion for this is to have a seating chart so that you can look at your seating chart and know like, okay, that kid on the red dot on the corner is Johnny, because that's where Johnny's supposed to sit. Having a seating chart allows you to see like which kids are where, and also allows you to try to cheat and figure out their names a lot sooner. But use their names as often as you can, even if you have to be like, who knows X, Y, and Z? Johnny. It's totally fine, but using their names makes the students feel like they are heard. It helps you to know that student better, because when you know their name, like you know them, and in general, it just makes everything go more smoothly. I promise. Try it. I will also link a video all about how to learn names quickly as a music teacher down below to help with that. Along with learning their names, being super consistent is going to help with the relationship building. This is especially important because as music teachers, we typically see our kids like once a week, or I have my kids for a week at a time and then I don't see them for a month. So whatever it is, you don't usually see them all day, every day, like their classroom teacher. And so if you can be very consistent in your demeanor and your expectations, and even a little bit in your class, then students will know what to do in your classroom, and it kind of helps them to form the relationship with you. So I know that regardless of what is going on, I have almost like a teacher persona that's like what I do when I'm teaching. And it's not that I'm being fake, but it's just making sure that I'm being consistent and I'm showing up the way I want to show up. So when I see kids, I make sure that, you know, I smile. I'm consistent in what I allow in my class. So if something got you in trouble on Monday, it's gonna get you in trouble today too. Like we're not, you know, wishy-washy with like some days things are okay, some days things are not. I try to be very consistent with my demeanor so that students know what to expect. They're not like, is she going to be like an evil queen today? Or is she going to be like super nice and, you know, bubbly? I don't know. But I'm very consistent with my demeanor so that students know what to expect from me, and they know what I act like, they know who I am, so that helps them form the relationship with me, because they know what to expect when they come to me. If they're not sure who you are, because some days you're like, you know, again, super frivolous, super fun, super bubbly, and other days you're like super mean and super strict, it's gonna be confusing. So just however you are, make sure that you are that way every day. Next up, to help form relationships, is make sure you look students in the eye. That probably sounds like the strangest suggestion, but it makes a huge difference when you actually look students in the eye. I see teachers that like never look their kids in the eye, and it is the strangest thing. Forming eye contact helps you to literally connect with other people. So if you give them eye contact a little bit every day, then that's going to help them know that they are seen, that you see them, that you know that they are there, that you know who they are, and all of those things that helps you literally connect with that student. I make a point to try to make eye contact with every student each day, not in like a creepy way, but like as we're singing a song, I'll look at each of the kids while we're singing, and I make sure that I do that throughout class so that they know that they're seen, they know that they're heard, they know that I know that they're a person, and all of that kind of stuff. I once had a teacher, I was in college, but still, he would, I don't know if he like had stage fright or what, but he would take his eyes and his eyes would go up, over, and down. He never looked at anybody in the eye, just up and over, up and over. And it was the strangest thing. And do you think that I formed any kind of relationship with him? No, I dropped his class because I was like, this is super weird. And also, like, just in general, it was not my favorite thing in the world. So make sure you make eye contact with the students, and also encourage the students to make eye contact with you. I really started emphasizing that this year in particular. And I mean, it's like I just finished year 5, but it made a world of difference. Like when you make a point to have the kids look at you and make that eye contact, the focus, the class, the behaviors, the like everything just gets so much better when you really make an emphasis. Not in like a creepy way, but I always talk about having kids track me, and I say when you track me, you're watching my eye and you track where I'm going and what I'm doing, and that helps you focus and it helps me know that you're focused, and that just really makes a difference. And the last thing that'll help you build relationships with the kids is to have fun. This is such an underrated tip. Nobody talks about this, or at least nobody that I have ever seen, but this is so important to have fun with your kids, because if you think about like just normal relationships, like put it in just like a normal context, when you meet someone new, what do you do with them? You have fun. You go bowling, you go to the movies, you take walks, like you do things that are fun together. That's how you build your relationship with any person on the planet. When you were a kid, how did you build a relationship with someone? You played with them. The same thing with your kids. Play with them, play games. I would say if you are new, spend the first solid like month playing games with your kids and really just having fun with them, because that's going to create organic relationships with the students, as well as they're gonna be like, oh hey, music is fun, Miss Davis is fun, I like music, I want to come to music. And then it's gonna be a lot easier later on when I want them to do harder things later. So all right, number 2 is to have a classroom management plan. This is something we didn't talk about at all in college, and y'all, it is like the most important thing, because classroom management is literally how your classroom runs, and if your classroom does not have rituals and routines and structures, it'll just fall apart. Yeah, I will also say the more difficult your students are, the more you need rituals and routines and systems. Okay, I actually was teaching summer camp this morning because I'm filming this over the summer, and I have a particular class that is extra fun, and so with them I made sure that we had extra layers of structure in class and just extra layers of things to make life easier. Now, with your classroom management, there's a lot of different things that go into it. You're gonna need, 1, routines. Routines are gonna be things like, how do the kids come into the room? How do kids leave the room? Can they go to the bathroom during class? How did they get to go to the bathroom during class? What do they do if they need supplies? How do you pass things out? All of these different things are rituals and routines that you need to have in your classroom. Now, the good thing is there's not like a magical way to do them. So it's not like you're right or you're wrong. It's just that you need to have an idea. You need to have a plan of, again, how are the kids gonna come in? Where are they gonna sit? Like, what are they gonna do? Do they need to raise their hands before to ask a question? Like those kind of things. Just decide ahead of time so that you know and they know what to do. Number 2 is you're gonna have to have a couple of rules. I'll link a video about how I teach the rules down below, but I just have 4, and they're follow directions, be respectful, be responsible, be a participant. I'm gonna be honest, we could probably boil it down to just be respectful and be responsible, and everything else would fall into place. But I do like having the other ones more specifically. But not just having the rules, but also making sure that you like talk about what they mean and in context of different things. So when we do an activity, we talk about how we're gonna do that. So if we're playing a game that requires moving around the room, okay, how are we responsible as we move around the room? Do responsible people run? Do responsible people break things? Do responsible people, touch things they shouldn't? Do respectful people push people? Like we go over those things and I use the actual words that are in the rules to make sure it all comes together. And we talk about that like literally with every activity, and I know it seems excessive, but it's not. Especially at the beginning, if you can like drill it into them at the beginning, it'll get easier. Like we're at the point now that I've had my kids the whole time they've been at our school, and so like my 5th graders, they know the rules, they know what to do. I don't have to spend as much time on them because they have it so ingrained in them. But especially at the beginning, really, really, really make it a big deal. Number 3 is consequences. If the kids are not following directions, then what's gonna happen? Again, not like right and wrong answers, but there needs to be something. So I will link a video down below about like classroom management and how I deal with all of that in case you need like more ideas of that. But yeah, I will link a blog post down below. There's a video that either already came out or is about to come out that goes along with the blog post. So if you prefer to watch that, either is available or is coming, I don't know. I have it written down somewhere, but it's not in front of me. And in this video, I talk about the consequences for, in my class, what happens if you are not following directions. They're very easy, they're very simple, and they work for me, and I've been using them for years, so I would recommend them. But just making sure that you have some kind of plan. Number 4, when it comes to classroom management, is stick to it. Do not be like super classroom management person one day and then like super willy-nilly the other day. You have to be very consistent in what you expect so that the students know what to expect so that they will do it. If you sometimes give consequences and sometimes don't, the kids will not respect you. One, they will also not know what to do, and they also just like, I mean, literally, like you can see it, it's really depressing. You'll see some teachers that completely lose the respect of their kids, and it's usually because they're willy-nilly with their consequences or they don't treat them like humans. So there's 2 things. And number 5 is explain absolutely everything in excruciating detail. The longer I've been teaching, the more I realize that it's not necessarily that kids want to be bad. A lot of times it's just that they don't know what to do, or they don't know that they shouldn't do something. So make sure that they know what they can and can't do. If we're moving around the room, then I need to be explicit about where we're moving, how we're moving, if we're touching things, if we're not touching things, if we're running, if we're not running. All of those things need to be discussed, and they need to know in excruciating detail exactly what to do. If we're lining up and I just say, get in a line, that might be all sorts of wonky with people talking and hands everywhere, versus if I say, okay, the green row, stand up, walk this way, stay in your line, get in line, your hands should be in your pockets, your voice should be at level 0, I shouldn't hear any noise. Those are very different things, and the more detail you can give, the better, especially with the younger kids and especially at the beginning. Again, if you drill it into them at the beginning, it'll be easier down the road, but it seems excessive, and it is. Do it anyway. It'll make your life so much better. My 3rd tip for new music teachers is to have really quick paced lessons. The easiest way for kids to get off task is when there is a long transition between different activities. So the faster your lessons go, the better. Don't give them time to get bored. Don't give them time to act up. We have very short things. When I was in college, actually, we talked about attention spans of students, and the chart that I was shown said that basically kids have about the same attention span as their age. So if they are 5, they have about 5 minutes of an attention span and nothing more. So if you're doing an activity, it needs to change every single 5 minutes in that kindergarten class. And I know that sounds like a lot, do it anyway. So with that, we're, doing a song, we're doing a game, we're doing another song, we're listening to a song, we're moving, we're, all of the different things, but make sure that the lesson is going quickly so that they don't have time to get bored and they don't have time to act up. With the older kids, I feel like you can fudge it a little bit if it's fun. So like if my older kids are 10, usually I can get 15 minutes out of them, but not usually any longer than that. So making sure that your lessons go really, really quickly and that you minimize the transitions as much as possible. Don't take a huge long time to go from one activity to another, or just go straight on in. One thing that really helps me with that personally is that I have Google Slides for all of my lessons. And so I have, you know, like, okay, 3rd grade on Wednesday is doing this, 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 and this. And they're Google Slides. I have a little clicker I got off Amazon for like $6, and I just click through it. I'll link it down below. It's really handy and really cheap. And I've dropped it multiple times and it has not broken. So that's also helpful in elementary music. So I just click through them, and so it'll have, you know, like, okay, now we're doing Twinkle Twinkle Little Star. Here's all the words, Twinkle Twinkle Little Star. And then I have, you know, 3 questions I wanted to ask. Here are the 3 questions. And then, you know, like maybe we're listening to a song, and so I have a Google slide with the song we're gonna listen to, or maybe I have the YouTube video embedded, because that will change your life. And I mean, seriously, sometimes it'll be just like a triangle, but it will remind me that I need to do something that has to do with triangle. Like maybe we're gonna talk about the triangles, I don't know. But having a slide really helps me to remember where I'm going, so that I eliminate all of that, like, what are we gonna do next? I don't remember. I can just go click. Oh, we're doing that song next. Excellent, let's go. And it just really helps to me, like personally, to change the pace. Really, let's be honest, the slides are for me, they're not for the kids. But still. Number 4 is have a longer term plan. When it comes to teaching, you do not want to be a week-to-week teacher. What I mean by that is being like, sitting down and be like, all right, I need to have a lesson plan for next week. We're gonna do this random thing, and then the next week we do this random thing, the next week we do this random thing. No. Have a longer term plan of what you're going to teach. I have a whole video about how to create this. It's called a scope and sequence. I will link it down below. Go check it out because it's really helpful. We also talk about that in the free mini course, which I will also link down below if you want, you know, a little bit more help with that. But having a plan long term will just make your lessons go more seamlessly, because they will fit together better, and it will also help you to get out of the week to week rut, because you'll know what to do. If you're like, okay, we're teaching 1/4 and 1/8 notes for the next 3 months, then I have 3 months worth of things, and I can make sure I spread out different activities throughout there. You don't have to have 3 months planned out, just have like an idea of what you're doing at what time, so that you know kind of what to do. Again, I'll link a video down below with all of that and like a sample sequence and everything to help you with that situation. Number 5 is find some elementary music teacher friends. This can be difficult, but it's also really helpful. How to find elementary music teacher friends. If you graduated with different people who are doing elementary music, connect with them. It's been, again, 5 years, and there's still 4 of us that teach elementary music that all graduated within like a year or 2 of each other, that have like a texting group. And anytime we have a question, we're like, hey, how did you do this? Hey, did you hear that? Like, we all, because we happen to work, you know, similar. If you do not work near people that you went to college with, then you can reach out virtually. You can also reach out to the other schools. Like, literally go online to the other schools and figure out who their music teachers are and send them an email, because they're probably going to want to like get together. If like, seriously, if the teacher down the street from me emailed me and wanted like some help, I'd be like, yes, please, let's talk, let's go get coffee, let's, you know, discuss, let's, you know, text. And I like, not all teachers are willing to help, but a lot of teachers are, and just having those people is going to make a huge difference. If you're in a bigger district, then you might even have like music teacher mixers or like different things like that in meetings. Make sure you talk to people, make sure you go first of all, and then make sure you talk to people. Doing other things, like if you're doing honor choir, if you do band, if you like, those things are also going to help you to like connect with other music teachers. You can also like take a course or take like a level, so like a Kodai level or an ORF level, and that's going to connect you with a whole bunch of people who not only are teaching elementary music, but are also the kind of people who are willing to give up time to learn more, to be a better teacher, which is the kind of teachers you want to be friends with. So that will help you connect with people as well. And when all else fails, find people on Instagram. Go, like, we live in the age of technology. I have literally, y'all, I have friends who are teachers that live in different states, and we like FaceTime, and I've never met them in person, but we meet online, which, you know, is like definitely things that our parents told us not to do when we were kids. But times have changed a little bit, and, you know, be smart about it. Don't be an idiot, but still, you know, find people on Instagram, find people on Facebook, join some Facebook groups. But even just like consuming videos that I create because I talk about elementary music stuff is going to help. It's not the same as connecting with people, but it does help a little bit to get at least a little bit of ideas and be on the same page if you're like really lonely, if you're really, you know, isolated. But find a person in person, if at all possible, who also teaches elementary music, and connect with them as much as you can, because you're gonna need a buddy. You're gonna need someone that you can text and be like, yo, I don't know what any of this stuff is. What do we do? And if they're in your district, even better, because sometimes districts do things that you're like, what is happening? So that's helpful too. Number 6 is don't reinvent the wheel. It can feel very exhausting your first year of teaching because you just don't have very many lessons because you haven't done anything. So good news is next year you'll have a whole year's worth of lessons that you can go back on. But this year you're gonna feel like you just have so many things you have to come up with yourself. You don't have to come up with them yourself. You are welcome to use things from the internet. Seriously, I have like a bajillion different videos you can watch for lots and lots of different ideas for lessons. You can buy things off Teachers Pay Teachers. You can connect with that teacher down the road and ask them what they're doing. You can even combine lessons so you're not writing 6 different lesson plans. Yes, friends, that is okay, or at least I say it's okay. Maybe your district doesn't say it's okay, but I say it's okay. So what I mean by that is when I first started, I had a lesson for K through 2 and a lesson for 3 through 5. Okay, and we switched them up a little bit. Like obviously I'm not using the same terminology with kindergarten as I am with 2nd grade. Like we changed a little bit of things, but overall we were doing the same type of things, and that way I have less to remember, and I also have less to plan because I just have no idea what to do. Now, after I got through that year, felt pretty good. Year 2, I did K1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Now we're at the point where pretty much everyone gets their own lesson most of the time. Sometimes I combine 4 and 5. Sometimes I do combine 1st and 2nd. I don't teach kindergarten anymore. But overall, we have mostly our own lessons because I'm now years down the road and I have a build up, a library, a repertoire of different lessons that we can do, and I have like ideas, and so adding something new is not as stressful. But if you are starting out, seriously do K through 2, 3 through 5 and go for it, and it will be fine. Don't stress too much about it. You do not have to reinvent the wheel, and you're welcome to steal things from other people too. I mean, steal them legally, don't, you know, copyright infringe, but you know. This one's my last actual tip, and then I have a couple things that are really important for you to remember. So tip number 7 is keep learning. Learn as much as you can, because again, you didn't learn everything that you could have in college because it's just not set up in a way that is conducive to all of that, because you have to take all of these different classes. That's a topic for another day. But my point is keep learning. Watch people on YouTube. Get some music teacher podcasts, get some books, take a Kodai level, take an ORF level, take some classes, like whatever it is that you can do the things that are going to help you learn more, because the more you can learn, the better you will be, and the better teacher you will be, and also less stressed you will be, because you will have ideas and you will have things and you'll know what to do instead of being super lost. You're going to be lost either way, but if you keep learning, you'll be a little bit less lost. All right, now a couple of things that music teachers need to remember when they're starting out is number 1, it's supposed to be hard. If it feels hard, it's because it is hard. It's a lot, it's hard. You probably aren't prepared for it. That's okay, do your best. It's not that you're doing it wrong. It just really is that difficult. So if you get halfway through your year and you're like, oh my gosh, this is so hard. Why is it so hard? It's hard because it's supposed to be hard, and it will get easier. So don't stress about it. You're not doing it wrong. Just go for it. The other thing I want you to remember as you're going through, especially your first year of teaching, is that it's okay to have fun. Seriously, teaching is fun, and especially teaching music. Like, you could have become a calculus teacher, and instead you're teaching little kids how to sing and play games. Like, it's great. It's not always fun, but make sure that you enjoy the fun parts and really try to like enjoy that. When I'm playing a game with the kids, I try to like be in the moment and really enjoy it. When you get like, oh my gosh, when you get like a whole kindergarten class and they're like all singing in tune and their cute little voices, and oh my gosh, it just warms your heart. Like, enjoy those moments, because it's not all fun and it's not all sweet and it's not all cute. Make sure that you enjoy all of the good parts so that you have something to hold on to for the times when it's not so great, like February. February is usually when everything is just like the world's gonna end, but it does get better because then May comes. Make sure you enjoy it. I tell my husband all the time, I'm like, look, some people go to work and they're bored. I am never bored. Like, I am never bored. At least I'm not bored. I'm always entertained. Every day is different. Everything is different. Not always good, but different. So make sure that you enjoy that and lean into that and to keep track of all those fun moments. I have a little notebook where I like write down cute things the kids said and stuff like that, because it just warms your heart to look back over it, especially on really rough days. So it is hard. Enjoy the fun parts. You made an awesome choice becoming a music teacher and not teaching calculus. So enjoy it. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye.